there, beautiful souls. How are you today? So in this beautiful video, we wanted to remind you, firstly, that our Loving Your Anger course is up and running and it is completely free. So the links are all in the description below and in the comment that I pin to the top each week with each video. So very easy to find. It's under freebie because we're giving that away for free because we feel that is the first stepping stone. Yeah? Loving your anger. What does it mean, loving your anger? When you sit with it, you probably think, why do you want to love your anger? My daughter was asking me this question the other day. Why do I need to love my anger? It doesn't make any sense, she was saying to me. And the truth is, until we learn to love our anger, it kind of runs everything for us. We tend to react with anger all the time. I'm just talking from experience. You know, when I look back at the years before I awakened, all the reactions, getting so angry with people because they'd cut in line, what am I, invisible? These sorts of reactions. And so you'd get angry with that person. And sometimes you would react and tell that person off in that moment. Or sometimes, I'd take it home and rant, with my husband, like, what this person did today. But the truth of it is that the anger is there for a reason. The anger is there for a reason. I'm going to let you sit with that for a minute. The anger is trying to tell you something. It was trying to tell me something for a really long time. It was trying to tell me that I'm believing that I'm not worthy. I'm believing that I'm not good enough. I'm believing that I don't deserve. And so what happens is if we don't learn to sit with our anger, because this is something we need to learn. In our childhood, what we learn is to suppress that anger. Because it's not good to be angry. It's not good to express anger in the world. It's not acceptable. And so what we do in childhood is we learn to suppress the anger. We never learn to sit with it and ask it, why are you here? What are you trying to tell me, anger? Why am I angry right now? What is this trying to tell me about myself? Because it always comes back to you, about yourself. And perhaps the anger is there because it's trying to tell you that this person is making you feel invisible, is making you feel disrespected, is making you fill in the blanks, because only you can know why your anger is there. What flares up for you every time you're angry? What is it that's trying to come out? You're feeling not good enough. You're feeling unworthy. You're feeling, what is it that you're feeling? Because there's something behind that anger. And it's usually a belief that we've created in childhood. Now, for me, at the age of 5, I learned very quickly that being all of this was not acceptable in this world. It's not something that was going to be accepted very well at school. And so what I learned from a very early age, or it's not so much that it's not acceptable. Yes, it's not acceptable, but it's not safe was the biggest one for me. That's what my takeaway was. And this not being safe wasn't just for me, but this has been going on for generations. My mum wasn't safe enough to work with her beautiful gifts that she has. She suppressed them all because it's not safe in this world to be this, what we are. The other thing that's coming through right now, and this is why I like just sitting and allowing the information to come through rather than having a script, because there's always something that Spirit wants to say in that moment, and it's this. We pass on energetically what we are being. And for me, it became very clear when I became a mother. You know, when I had my daughter, that's when I began to awaken. Because all the things I believed before she came, I started to realize, wow, that's not true. I thought that when she came, my life would be a rainbow. I'd been waiting my whole life to be a mother. And I thought, oh, I'm finally going to be in love with this life, with my life, with myself, through this child. And none of that happened. I adore my daughter, don't get me wrong. I love her to bits. I would do anything for her. But nothing inside here changed when she was born. And for me, that was the beginning of this journey of, wait a minute, I've been waiting all this time for her, and she's not the answer to why I feel this way. She's not the answer, the cure, the solution, whatever it was that I was thinking she was going to be. She wasn't the one that was going to make me finally feel loved. I'd put all of that pressure on this tiny little being before she was even born. And it's not up to her. It's not up to my partner. It's not up to anyone outside of you to make you feel loved. We put it out there that it's in this person, in that person, in this thing, in that thing, that when we do this, when we do that, then I'll finally feel loved. I'll finally feel accepted. I'll finally feel worthy. Worthy is one of the biggest ones for so many of us. And so we go about our day being unworthy, feeling unloved. And this is what we're passing on to our children. For those of you that are parents, if you don't feel safe within you, you're passing that on to your children, that energy, because we are energy. We are energy at our core. Yes, we have this material exterior to experience this world with, but we are energy. And what we are believing, what we're seeing, what we're thinking about ourselves is what we are constantly emitting as a frequency. Not good enough, not worthy, unloved, unlovable. This was me for a very, very long time. If I can't be loved by my mother, then who? Nobody's going to be able to love me. You can tell your children all day that they're smart. You can tell your children all day that they're beautiful. You can tell your children all day long that they are loved. But if within you, you don't believe that you're smart or think that you're smart, if you don't feel that you're beautiful, if you don't feel that you are loved, if you don't believe within every fiber of your being that you are loved, that you are supported, then this is what you are giving to your children. This frequency of not smart, not beautiful, not loved, not supported. Now, before you go off and think, oh no, what am I doing? Before you freak out about what you're doing to your children, or all those beings around you, please stop for a moment, stop. Take a deep breath in. It is what they are meant to be experiencing. They have chosen you as their parent. You have a soul contract with this beautiful being that this is what they were going to experience. My beautiful beings. So don't beat yourself up that, oh no, I'm giving my child this, and oh no, I'm giving my child that, and it's not my intention. It has nothing to do with intention and everything to do with your energy and who you are being in every moment. And let me tell you in this moment that who you are being is perfect just as it is. With all its frustrations, with all its anger, with all its, who you are being is perfect. You know, we've been fed this idea that we are here to awaken. And this was one of the videos that I just created recently. You know, reading that book by Rhonda Byrne. I think it's called The Greatest Secret. I forgot to look it up at home before I came back to record. And I went through the whole book thinking, that's not it. You know, the whole book is selling you this idea that we are here to awaken and live the rest of our lives in bliss. But we are that for all eternity when we are not here having this incredible human experience. And what was coming up so strongly for me today as I was showering and getting ready to be here is the following. We come here to know, to experience firsthand. What does it feel like to not be joy? What does that feel like? What does it feel like to not be love? And that's who we are at our core. What does that feel like? What does it feel like to be angry, in pain, in fear? What does that feel like when we're not at peace, like we are for all eternity in our natural state? What does that feel like? And the awareness I had this morning that was so beautiful as I was receiving all this information to share here is the following. As we go through all of these things, like I was saying yesterday, I don't go back to look at my mum like, oh, she was this monster. And I'm sorry if people have portrayed her that way from all my beautiful stories. She was serving my experience. I asked her to do all those things, that I could have this human experience. We had an agreement, a soul contract. It's only when we judge that that's good or bad or that's wrong, when we judge, oh, what they did was wrong, then it becomes a bad thing. But when you look at it as it's neither here nor there, it's just an experience that I chose to have. And it's perfect. She did exactly what I asked her to do. That I may come into this life to know firsthand, what does it feel like to not feel loved? Not that that was the truth, because she has loved me from the first moment she laid eyes on me. It was never the truth. I have been loved by my mother from my very first breath. But I decided at the age of 5 that that love was no longer there. And because of that decision, that love had been taken from me and given to someone else, that was the experience I came to have. What does it feel like to not be loved when outside of this simulation? It's impossible to know that, because you are so loved, so held, so supported by Spirit. So, in going through that experience of not feeling loved, of being separate from that, which is what you are, you never stop being that. You just separate yourself from it in childhood to have the experience. What does it feel like to not be loved? And to chase that. Your whole life, you chase that in everything, in everyone that you have an experience with. You look for it in your partner, you look for it in your children. That love that I'm yearning for. I want to feel loved again. I want to know what that is. In going through this beautiful experience of not feeling loved. The soul becomes even more aware on a deeper level of the love that it truly is. The same goes for all the other things, the joy that it truly is. It realizes the joy that it truly is through the sadness, through the pain, through the suffering that it comes to endure in this 3D simulation. It comes here and it decides, I want to have that, that experience. I want to go through that pain. What does that feel like? And coming out of that pain, coming out of that suffering, knowing at the end of that, oh, the incredible joy that I truly am has just been amplified by this beautiful lifetime. Expanded, if you like, because we are ever growing, ever expanding, we never stop. Your energy is always expanding, it's always looking to grow more and more and more. So, my beautiful beings, it is not about judging that person in our childhood, how bad they were, how wrong that was. We don't go back for that. We go back to discover, what did we decide about all of that? About ourselves, our place in this world from those events. What did we decide? So in the next one, there's the word broken is coming up a lot at the end of this one. We're going to go into it in the next one because that's a big one for a lot of people. That they feel broken, but that is impossible when you think of it in terms of energy. You cannot be broken. But it's an identity we take on to experience this life. It's something we tell ourselves. All right, my beautiful beings. We love you dearly. Remember to click like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the messages. And remember, our Loving Your Anger course is completely free and you have lifetime access to it. Once you're in, it's yours forever. It is part of the Sacred Healing Journey. So if you go in and you see that title, it is part of that. There are 3 courses in there. And we are gifting you the first course that you may have this experience. We love you. Bye for now.